so much has been going on in Nigeria, and it became much worse ever since Major General Muhammadu Buhari retired, stepped in. Recently, something happened in ASO-ROCK, and it really exposed the rot in ASO-ROCK, the lack of leadership, the lack of control, the ceremony, everything there is just dislocated because there's no precedent in Nigeria. Buhari is a tired man. If he's not dead, he should be in old people's home sipping, lemon. Inside sources say the latest step by the president could further stir the bad blood among different power blocks in Aso Villa. These power blocks are called the CABALS, especially with the First Lady vowing to take a pound of flesh for being embarrassed. President Buhari has fired his security details and other persons in Aso Villa over the role they played in the crisis between his wife AISHA and Sabiu Tunde Yusuf, his assistant. Those fired by Buhari on Wednesday included his Chief Personal Security Officer, Chief Detail to President, ADC to the First Lady, Escort Commander, ADC National Defense Council, and 37 others have been fired from the villa. But you would have asked yourself, why is it that the man in question that was asked to self-isolate himself, why hasn't he been fired? That's because this man is related to Buhari. Sahara reporters had on Tuesday exclusively reported that President Buhari, who was deeply angered by the embarrassing crisis in Aso Villa, was preparing to fire his security details and some top aides for the roles they all played in dragging the presidency into the mud. It was gathered that President Buhari decided to take the step after Mama Daura, his nephew and one of his closest confidants, was seen weeping as he made his way to his office. Daura was said to have informed Buhari that his security aides were not only after Yusuf's life, but his own as well. And, this is funny, right? This is very funny. The wife of Buhari, there's a lot of kind of tussle in ASO-ROCK. This has to do with the camp called the Cabal, Buhari on one side, and they believe that Buhari has, they have the hair of Buhari, and the wife of Buhari also belong to our own camp. I don't know who are the people that are part of our own camp anyway. So with all of this, a lot of power tussle. This tussle went on for a long time on the demise of Abba Kyari. And right now, I think the cabals, they are trying to restructure. And they need to kind of get their acts together somehow so as to make sure that they continue to enforce control over Buhari and also control ASO-ROCK and everything that goes in and out. And Aisha Buhari is not going to have any of this. Well, what happened actually? This man called Tunde is not a Yoruba man. It's just a nickname. He was asked to self-isolate, and he questioned and queried Aisha Buhari and whoever told him to self-isolate. He said, what about Gambari? That is the new chief of staff. Why haven't anybody told him to self-isolate? Why are you telling me this? I'm talking about a man that is only a personal assistant and secretary to Buhari. That's a strong position too anyway. And this young man is from Daura, and I wonder what kind of secretary he is. Anyway, of course, you know how they do. It's nepotism, bringing your family members, let him occupy that position, probably to explain to Buhari in his native dialect. Maybe that is the reason why this young man has been brought in. So he refused to self-isolate, and all of a sudden he wanted to come in, and Aisha Buhari, being afraid of all of this, maybe being afraid, even pointed to our own daughter that had to be self-isolated and said, if my daughter can do that, who are you not to self-isolate? The young man refused, and the dogs were let loose. Aisha Buhari's aide took out his gun, and the talk out there is that he shot probably into the air, or shot to scare the young man, or shot to make him run away, or something, or to kind of scare him away if he was forcing his way into the section where Buhari and wife stayed. So they were afraid for themselves, afraid for their life, and the gun was released. Bullets were released, not to shoot at him directly anyway, or maybe to shoot at him, I don't know. The young man found a way to kind of get himself off from that part of ASO-ROCK, ASO Villa, and then he went wherever he went to. And now because there are connections between Daura and this young man, he went in with the tears to meet Buhari, like, your wife has sent the dogs at me. So he went in there weeping into the office of Buhari. Daura was said to have informed Buhari that his security aides were not only after Yusuf's life, but his own as well. Buhari gave the nod for all persons involved in the alleged threat to the lives of the two men to be removed, as they are all families. Like, you know what, we're all families. Let's take off the ones that are not families. The crisis started with Yusuf's refusal to embark on a 14-day isolation period after returning to Abuja from a trip to Lagos last week. This led to the arrest and eventual redeployment of the aide-de-camp to Mrs. Buhari and other security details attached to her after it was claimed that they threatened to kill the president's assistant in the process of trying to get him out of the villa. And it's so funny, right? Inside sources said the latest step by the president could further stir the bad blood among different power blocks in ASO Villa, especially with the first lady saying that I'm going to get my own piece of flesh. All this shows incompetence. I think they are trying to do what they need to do. I'm not a fan of President Buhari or Jubril Al-Sudani, but, you know, from all these indications here and there, I think things should be done properly. But then how can this be done even properly if Buhari cannot handle what is happening in his own, you know, in his own home? How else you think the complex Nigeria can be handled? Although he's trying to sack this person away, sack the other person away, well, maybe that's a step towards progress for him. Until Sabiu goes, the matter will not be settled. That's just it. Sabiu has brought disrespect to the office. That's it. We must learn in life to separate sentiments from official circles and matters of decorum if we are to move forward. That's just the truth of all of this. Sabiu must be sacked. That's it. Sabiu must be sacked. It's very simple. Now, Daura came to meet Buhari crying, weeping. That is the trick. It is a takia. Because he knows that by crying, Buhari is going to panic. Like, really? Who are those people that brought guns? You mean you would have been killed? Really? Now, the question Buhari should have asked himself, what about Aisha Buhari and my children? What about this young man? Oh, his family, really? Okay, we're all families. We should talk about this as family. Sabiu and Daura should leave the villa. That's just what it is. But if Daura is to be there because Buhari needs someone to talk to, like, you know what, I'm the president, I live here, and since we've been friends, it's better you come in there so we can still relate like how we normally do. And of course, you can put your eyes out there to watch out this and that for me. Well, maybe that's what it is. But the Sabiu himself, as the president or who spoke to this man to apologize to the nation for embarrassing that ASO Villa, that ASO-ROCK, because this thing is out there. Why mustn't he self-isolate? Why shouldn't even the Gambari self-isolate? These things are very, very, very important. But look at what is happening there. I believe this. They believe that they are above the law. That's just it. They believe they are above the law. That's just the reason why the Sabiu will say, what about the other person that wasn't told to do this? Why should I be told to do this? As Tunde or whatever his name is refused to self-isolate, well, maybe he might distribute the virus all over ASO-ROCK. And I think a lot of people are waiting for this, that Buhari should get the coronavirus. AISHA Buhari should also be infected. These are the talks here and there. A lot of people are not happy. That's what I see with what's happening in Nigeria. And they wish the president and his family a lot of very worse things here. I don't know what your own opinion is as regards all these things that are happening in Nigeria, with the insecurity everywhere, with the lack of order, even in ASO Villa. And, you know, it's more or less like a banana republic, something like that. Sentiments and politics should not move together. Simple. Why should a young man or anyone move from one point to the other without self-isolating? Who is this young man? called Tunde. And why is it that he believes that he should not? And the Mama Daura shedding crocodile tears along the corridor in the path of Buhari is in order to catch his attention. This is very dangerous. This is very dangerous. It shows that Buhari himself, if he's dead or alive, lacks the ability, cognitive reasoning. He lacks the ability to look into matters and come out with something reasonable. How then do you think Buhari will listen to advisors? Definitely these advisors want to tell him what he wants to hear. That is why the nation is where it is at the moment.